Guys, we don't need more discipline, we need to come back into alignment. Most people will try to force change with discipline. However, when anything is forced in your life, it will eventually cause that person to relapse or burnout. I've been there and it wasn't pretty.
We don't need more discipline, we don't need more discipline. We need to come back into alignment. We don't need more discipline, we don't need more discipline. We need to come back into alignment.
Welcome back, Soul Players, to another video. I'm excited to share with you guys a new video series called the Core OS, the internal system beneath your mind, emotions, and energy. In this video series, we are going to explore why discipline fails without being in alignment. We will see why life keeps feeling like a fight. I was there for many years fighting with my life. And then we'll explore how your internal operating system works. And then lastly, you will see how your unprocessed memories, emotions, and energetic patterns are actually secretly running your life from behind the scenes. So let's get into it. What does this mean? This means that most people think goals are just physical. However, money, health, success, status, productivity, discipline, they're only a component of the goal. They're the part we can see. They're the part we can measure. So just because that's the part we can see and measure, most people focus their attention and energy on these parts. However, these are just the physical results of a goal. The most important thing to understand here is the physical results are not the cause, they are the outcome. I'll repeat that again. The physical results are not the cause, they are the outcome. So this means that everything that creates your results is created from the inside first. The key point here to understand is we are multi-dimensional beings. We're not just the physical body. This is the part we can see, right? However, we have an emotional body, we have a mental body, and we're made up of spiritual bodies. All these bodies exist in your auric field, right? We've all heard about the auric field. It's the field around us, right? We can just see the physical, but the auric field and all these bodies are invisible to the naked eye. But we can measure them from equipment. We can see the auric field in energies, right? But to our naked eyes, we can't see them. So most people don't think or really think much of them, or they have an effect on us. But these all bodies are having an effect in our body, because the key thing to understand here is, okay, we've got the physical, right? This is the world. We can see our physical self. But your emotions, they're invisible. You can feel them, but you can't see them. Your mental body is invisible, right? You think thoughts, but you can't see them, right? But the inside of you, you do think thoughts. And then your energy, it's invisible. You can't see it, but you feel the energy. So this all creates your inner self, right? Your inner self is the real self. And the key point here to understand is the unseen runs the scene. Your spiritual self, the inner self, actually runs the show. The inner self runs the show, your spiritual self. It's very important to understand this, because when you understand this, you will understand that your inner world is creating everything you see on the outside. So before a goal shows up in your life, it exists internally as a belief, as an emotional state, as an energetic alignment or misalignment. This means that if the inside of you isn't aligned, the outside of you cannot hold the physical manifestation, aka the results of your desired goal. So this is the loop that most people live in. Let's call it the discipline loop. Let's say you're motivated, you've got a new goal, you've got new energy, and you're like, literally this happens at the beginning of every single year, and then you go, right? It's a new year and I'm ready to go. And then what happens after a few months? Pressure sits in. A bit of stress, life stress, emotional triggers starts weighing down on you. Then what happens is you start feeling guilty. self-loathing, self-judgment. You're questioning, what's wrong with me? This is just the pressure, right? But then you just relapse because old habits start reappearing, and then you start self-sabotaging yourself. Then you have to wait for motivation to come back around again. And this happens in the same loop, year after year. Basically, you just keep going round and round, and you're stuck in this loop. That's the cycle. And the key thing here is, this isn't caused from a lack of discipline. This is caused by an unaddressed internal system, right? We don't know what is going on here, okay? And then it causes us to relapse. So we need to identify what is happening here. Unaddressed internal system, which we're going to get into now. Now, I would like to introduce to you guys the Core OS framework. When I say Core OS, it basically means your internal operating system that governs how you think, how you feel, and how you engage in life. A bit of backstory here. I used to debug computers as a profession. And after going deep into my own healing journey and spiritual journey, I realized something simple, that we humans are a system, just like a computer. Now, this is how I see this operating system working from my perspective. What I'm going to share with you guys is a polished version of my framework I used during my own healing journey. Let's say that this is you, that is your physical body. In the other slides, we said you've got these other bodies which are invisible. So the inside, invisible side of you creates this Core OS internal operating system. And inside of this operating system, the high level view, let's say that you have a mental folder which stores memories and beliefs, and you remember things. Then you have an emotional folder where you have emotional programs, where you react and where you respond. Then you have this energetic field folder where you create boundaries, your energy, and how you engage in your life. So these are the three folders. And throughout our life, we are constantly storing data. We're taking data in, we're storing information, we're taking information in, and we're storing experiences. And they all go through these folders, right? And this is how we experience our life. However, the key point to understand here is, if we don't process the stuff that goes through these folders, we'll have background processes running in our core operating system. Unresolved memories, unresolved emotions, and unresolved experiences. They're running in the background unconsciously. And that's where the self-sabotage, the force in your life is happening, right? This is why we keep relapsing, because these are unresolved issues running in your operating system, which we are unconscious of. Only until we become conscious of them, process them, and then that will allow our system to come back into alignment. And just to make this clear, this isn't just a theory. This is how our life is actually being run, okay? I'm just giving you a framework and a visual representation of how to work with it and how to understand it. And then once you understand it, then you can start working with it. And the key point to understand here is, if we don't understand our own system, we will keep fighting the symptoms and end up in that same loop we discussed earlier. Right, just to wrap this video up now, key takeaways, okay? Goals are spiritual before they are physical. Discipline fails without being in alignment. Your core OS is always running in the background. Your internal systems create your external results. Once you understand your core OS, you stop fighting yourself. So this video was all about understanding the overview of the core OS system. In the upcoming videos, we're going to break down this system even further. We'll explore more examples. We'll look at shadow files. We'll look at the energy folders, the emotional programs, and the mental folders. So we have a lot to look forward to. If this video resonated with you and you want to go deeper, I invite you to come and join my Soul Player Hub community. The link is in the video description down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to hear from you guys and your thoughts on this. So comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Soul Players, goodbye.
We don't need more discipline. We need to come back into alignment.